Alright, Saturday morning, heading out. Got a milk crate full of microphones and are going to record some drums. So we need to lay down some drum tracks for my band, and our drummer's drum set is actually set up at their church. It's the drum set they use every Sunday. So rather than haul it back and forth, we're just going to go there and record some drums there. And we actually were rehearsing the other night, and we brought his drums into the library room and set them up there, and they sounded pretty good. So that's the plan, which is a decent sized room, and it's got a vaulted ceiling with kind of exposed wood and beams, and then bookshelves all around the walls. So it's a very live room, but it doesn't have really nasty slap echo because there aren't really too many parallel surfaces, but there also aren't a lot of soft surfaces to soak stuff up in. So it's a decent sounding, really live room. Hopefully we'll get some good drum sounds going on there. So I'm going to try and take some pictures and video to show you anything interesting going on while we're there.
Okay, so we set the drums up in this room pretty much dead center. I decided to face it towards this glass wall and door so that we could sit on the other side of it. But more importantly, I did that so that the left and right sides of the drums had as similar surfaces as possible. So the drum set is centered left and right, and there is a wall of bookshelves on each side. So with the drums set up there, we listened to how they sounded in the room, and we decided they sounded pretty good. So there was no weird boxy sound or slap echo, and then we just had to mic them up. So I didn't realize until I started editing this video, but every mic we used ended up being a Shure, hashtag not sponsored, unless they would be into that sort of thing. So Shure, if you're watching, I would definitely be okay with being sponsored. Plus I live right by your Chicago headquarters, so win-win. You should think about it. So we started with a Shure Beta 52A on the kick, and we actually started with it outside the drum, but weren't too happy with how it sounded. So I moved it inside the drum and pointed it at the beater. Then we mic'd the snare and toms with SM57s, and then for overheads we used a pair of SM81s. Now when I set up mics, I usually pretend that the microphone is a flashlight, and then whatever you would shine light on with it will be what the microphone hears. So I set up one SM81 on the left of the kit pointing at the crash and hi-hats, and then the other mic I set up pointing at the ride and crash cymbals. Then my friend Brian, who was helping out, used a mic cable to measure out the distance from the snare to each of the overhead mics. So I don't know exactly how high up they were or the distance away from the snare they were, but I know that we measured and that distance from the snare to each of the two overhead microphones is the same. So at this point, we ran some test recordings and played them back, and we're happy with the sound that we were getting, except for the snare drum. We wanted a little bit more sizzle. Now, we didn't have any more 57s, but we did have a 58, so we threw that on the underside of the snare just to get a little more sound from the actual snares. And that was pretty much it. We liked the sound that we were getting, and I checked the tracks to see that everything was in phase, and then it was time to start recording. And we plugged everything into a Behringer Ultra Gain Pro 8 Digital, which is an 8-channel mic pre, and then I used ADAT to connect that to my RME UFX interface. And then we recorded everything into Cubase 7. Now we used RME's built-in software that comes with it to make some headphone mixes of everything for me and the drummer, and then we were off and running.
Alright, well we got the drums done, got the car packed up, heading home. I gotta say I'm really pleased with the results we got. And Unfortunately for you guys and the video, I didn't have to do a lot of the tricks that I was planning on filming here to show you, since the drums sounded good in the room by themselves. So it just goes to show, if you can get stuff right at the source, like my friend Joe Gilder would say, everything goes way nicer, which is exactly what happened. So we got in, got some drums done, and got out, which I am very happy with. I'm gonna end this video here because holy cow, is it hot. I am dying right now. I gotta roll these windows down, get some music going, and I will see you next time.